Well, good morning. We're on the trail again. Would like to chat a little bit about some things I've been thinking about this past week, and was really triggered by an article that I read that talked about the U.S. SEALs, the Navy SEALs. The article really focused on, what it took to recruit the right type of team member into a SEALs program. Over the decades, they've been able to refine their training and recruiting process down to a pretty predictable science. And one of the statistics that they shared in this article was that 70% of the people that enter into the SEALs training fail. And they make it difficult and hard intentionally. And I think we all understand and have seen documentaries or read articles, or just by the type of kind of history around the U.S. SEALs, that everyone understands that the type of mental toughness and physical abilities that a Navy SEAL has to have is quite extraordinary, and that they're able to, recruit the right type of people that have the highest probability of success. So one of the things that I would like to have you think about is, as you prepare your business for exit, there are data points out there that you need to kind of be aware of. And think about what the meaning is around those data points and why it's important. One of those data points is that over 80% of businesses that are listed for sale, in fact, do not sell. Now that is an interesting statistic, again, just like the U.S. Navy SEALs, has been validated over years and decades, that 80% of businesses that are listed for sale really don't sell. Now that doesn't mean that every business out there has that probability of not selling. It means that the probability is that just because you have a business, and just because it's making money, and just because you think it's valuable, doesn't make it valuable. It's what the perceived value is in the eyes of a buyer. And so what I'd like to focus a little bit as we think about, the opportunity that you have now before your business sells, is to, what can you do to alter those statistics in your favor? And one of the things that you need to do is really think about, being on the other side of the table, and what a buyer is going to be looking at. What is it of interest to the buyer? So often we get so caught up in running our business, we don't really understand or think about what a buyer is going to be looking at 5 years down the road when you get ready to sell your business. And so if you can go around the other side of the table and think about what your buyer is thinking about, and what you need to be able to do to position the business so that the buyer sees value, that you are able to reduce the risk of either real or perceived risk that a buyer is going to be looking at, then you're in a much better position to beat those odds. And especially if you can prepare your business with all of the things that a buyer is going to be looking at as he considers and looking at your business, and probably a dozen other businesses that they are looking at and evaluating. In the private equity world, a private equity fund may look at as many as 15 or 20, sometimes 100, maybe 150 businesses, depending on the type of fund that it is, before they arrive at a decision that this business fits their criteria. They're very picky. They have a set number of steps that they go through, and they look at to be able to validate the business based on, the criteria that they have put in place. So whether it's a private equity fund, a strategic buyer, regardless of who the buyer is going to be, it could be a family office, it could be a management team, it could be a competitor, whomever the buyer is, they're going to have criteria, and it's all going to be focused around what their needs are. And so if you can prepare your business and remove a lot of the perceived risk around what your business is and how your financials are, your management team's in place, you have all of the items that you have created to remove the perceived risk from that decision process that a buyer is going to go through, then you're in a much better position to put your business in a light that it will be perceived, and you won't be a part of that statistic that be one of those businesses that's very difficult to sell or maybe doesn't sell. And that if you're ready, you've done the right things, then you're in a better position to create an environment where the perceived value is there, the perceived risk is low, and that your business is valued at what it should be. So I want you to give that some thought as you prepare. Look at kind of sitting on the other side of the table of what a buyer is going to be looking at seeing for your business. So this is Marvin L. Storm and On the Trail, and we'll see you on the next episode.